Many blessings to all of you. I hope that you're doing really wonderful and enjoying this holiday weekend. I wanted to talk to you a few minutes about freedom and the awakening process that we are surely all experiencing on one level or another. Of course, at different levels, uh, contingent on where we are, right, within individually within ourselves. But I had a session one day this week, and I met this young lady who I found so intriguing, and I knew that I had to share my experience and create it into a share. Um, she reached out to have a session, and she was hungry. She was so hungry that she was actually experiencing anxiety. And what was interesting about our session was that there wasn't anything in particular that she could pinpoint, which I usually look at as a root cause or causes as to why someone may be experiencing anxiety, um, or just this feeling of desperation, so to speak. And what I found was that there wasn't anything in particular like a root cause, but more so this incredible desire, this undefined desire to to be hungry and to learn and to grow. And I found it to be delicious, right? Because it's part of the awakening process. It is all of this activity, the Schumann resonance, the solar flares, the DNA activations, all of this. The new paradigm, of course, which is already in place, that is triggering and activating so many beautiful humans, so many beautiful sentient beings to become ready to start the awakening process. And not everyone is aware of how that they can begin that process, right? And willingness is always going to be the greatest protocol, right? We can't necessarily do it wrong if we're willing, to be ready, to be hungry, right? And how we become willing is through the heart center, right? And so the heart center is very important. How do we get in touch with the heart center? How do we become awakened from the heart center? Is to allow yourself to experience love, love for yourself, love for all that is, all the oneness, regardless of whether that oneness doesn't feel as one in the external realm. It can still feel one in your heart center, right? Within yourself. And in that heart space of divinity, to know that we are truly all one. Whether we are expressing ourselves here uniquely at different levels because of this experience, right? Coming from the heart center is definitely going to be the key, the greatest key to awakening and to then receiving the keys, if you may, to then be able to move forward in guidance, in direction, in purpose, in fulfillment, and all of that, right? And so coming from the heart center, now that's sometimes easier said than done. We can surely at any given time surrender to everything else that we feel defines us and come into the heart center. And that by itself can truly immensely transform us. Sometimes, though, it takes a little bit more than that, only because the lower self, the ego part, right, wants to hold and cling to the past, to past injuries, to fear from past injuries, from justification from past injuries, fear, right? A defense mechanism. I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to trust anyone because I was hurt already. And although we can become the observer and understand why that may occur, why that does occur, we also have to see and observe that as much as we want to justify that those feelings are justifiable, that they serve only to close our heart center, right? Because they're fear based and they're also based on separation, right? So it's not about, it's never been, and it never should be really about letting others take advantage, um, or being a doormat to others who may be uh, vibrating in a lower space. It's never been about that. It's been more about you, the individual self, and being able to let go of that, reconcile, and that dreaded word that we never want to hear, which is forgiveness, right? There's no way around it, if we have not surrendered to that energy, then it will serve to block us or to prolong the awakening state. Why? Because the awakening state is about pure unconditional love, right? And so it's okay if it comes in stages. We see so much awakening taking place, and awakening is not only about seeing truth and saying, oh, I saw it, oh, I see you, almost with this feeling of justification, right? But saying, yes, I see all of it. And from that place of observation, of lovingly detachment, I'm going to free myself to become the observer so that I can allow and honor the process that is occurring around me externally, but more so honoring the process within me. And when we allow ourselves to surrender into everything else and come into the self, then we're going to really rock and roll into that place of awakening, of just divine freedom and purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Yes? The awakening process, of course, is being observed and felt on many different levels. For some, it's has been an incredible, nirvanic, joyful experience. Some have been able to start tapping into other realities, timelines, and recognizing that there's so much more than what they ever thought they were, right, as a collective. And then for others, there's a process of, of feeling uncomfortability and not quite being able to point the finger as to why there is uncomfortability. Many are experiencing that uncomfortability in physical symptoms, right? It may be that the awakening process and the energies that are so prominent may be a little bit too much to assimilate at the moment. And so the assimilation process can be somewhat challenging, right? And so how can we remedy, the symptoms of the ascension process, of the awakening process, is surrendering, surrounding ourselves with nourishment, the waters, meditation, serenity, calming energies, listening to meditative music or soothing music, incense. I'm so big on aromatherapy, incense, sage, a mister with aromatherapy. These are all very soothing. They do have a chemical component, dolphins that, that help to relax and allow us to enter into a state of serenity, of peace, right? And of course, if we find ourselves that we're still having difficulties with the ascension process and the awakening process, we may want to explore connecting with a healer or a shaman, as myself, to be able to help assist in releasing any root causes, emotional root issues that may be obstructing the ascension energies, the awakening energies from accelerating, right, in the way that they can. So I think I did from a session that I had. And so I just want to demonstrate this. Probably I will do a video with this, but of course, tuning forks. And when we talk about activating our DNA, activating the energies, right, within us, in particular our DNA, we know that sound is almost 90 to 95% of our energy state, right? It's a vibration. It's a vibration. And so I use a tuning fork among many other tools to be able to process and facilitate a DNA activation, an energy activation, an emotional body activation when I work with someone who is willing and ready to receive these high caliber activations. Yes. And the tuning forks carry a megahertz of vibration and of sound. And we know that vibration and megahertz activity is what's going to actually trigger, awaken, and begin the process of movement into the higher dimensional energy fields, right? And so I will hopefully put a video together where we can, I think I did one some months ago, but I wanted to share that. I hope that this video has been somewhat helpful in helping you understand what the awakening process is. It is happening to all of us. And so the great news is, beloveds, that the awakening process is here. It's here to stay. And we should really have much to celebrate from a collective, divine, galactic, universal state that we have arrived, that we have succeeded in reaching the new paradigm, and with it, all of those beautiful sentient beings who are willing and ready to now enter into the higher vibrational state of consciousness, right? And so I hope that your awakening process is being fruitful for you. I've shared some information. I hope that that was helpful. And of course, I'm always here to help facilitate and answer any questions that may be helpful in this process for you. Yes? Well, I will be back. Of course, I ask you, if this video was useful in any way, please share the video. Please like it. I love that you're all coming to view the videos, but please take a moment to like, as it changes the algorithm of the videos and the way that it is shown on YouTube. So that would be really, really helpful if you did that, especially if the video spoke to you. Yes? Anyway, as always, I leave you with my love, with my light, and with my peace. I hope that you have a beautiful day of celebration tomorrow and this weekend, and I will see you really soon. Love you always. Bye-bye.